right. I hope we're all feeling good. Can you see my screen? I can't see the
Yeah,
chat. So yeah.
yeah, we can
Okay.
see us. Don't worry, I'll help you out with the stuff if there is anything coming in.
All right. Cool. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining again. I hope we're excited for a very cool, informative session on UX research. Okay, so as Tosi mentioned, I'm a UX researcher now at InterSwitch. So, and the topic for today is UX research, your edge in the design world. May I know if everyone on this call is a designer? People put it in the chat. Tosin will tell me. But yeah, while people are putting that in the chat, I'm a UX researcher. I uncover user needs that enhance user adoption, loyalty, and business revenue. Obviously, we're going to get into all of that and what that means. And some fun facts. My favorite show is Friends. So if you watch Friends, we are friends. And I also love content creation. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, FizUXR, you should be following me because I always put cool content on UX research. Okay. So yeah, that is me. So my first question to everyone is what is UX research? Please put it in the chat as to what you think UX research is. And Tosin would tell me. Actually, I'd like people to speak as well though. So if that's possible. So maybe
Yeah,
like one or two people, just tell me what you think UX research is.
okay, okay. Please feel free. Shagun, are you saying something?
No, that was a mistake, please.
I can't see the chat, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, what is UX research? Don't be shy, guys. Just I want this to be a discussion, very interactive.
Yeah, please feel free. Once you have something to say, just raise up your hand or just unmute your mic and then go ahead, please. So Rhoda replied you saying she's a UX designer.
Okay, welcome, Rhoda.
Guys, I know you're shy. Feel free to say this. I know
I
they are
call
shy.
out someone. I
Maybe
want
we
to hear
should
one. I want to hear one person at least. What is
maybe we
UX?
should start with Rhoda.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good
Okay.
afternoon.
I'm Abakar Mohammed. So, UX research. UX means user experience. So, the definition for the UX research, to my own understanding, is the experience, is the research on the experience, which encompasses all the aspects of user interaction with the service or product you are about to put out for users to use. So that UX research.
Thank you. What's your name?
Abakar Mohammed.
Abaka Mohammed. Thank you so
Yes.
much. That was such a good and powerful answer. Thank you so much. And I think we'll just get into the definition and why it is important. So, UX research is a process where we study people's needs and behaviors to make products easier and more enjoyable to use. So, like you said as well, we're studying people's experience with the product to see how we can make it more enjoyable, right? So, I want to show how it actually plays out in design. So there are different stages to UX research, right? So before designing, it's very important to have information about your user needs, their preferences, and their behaviors, right? And you can find out this information through interviews, surveys, or observation in their natural environment. So how they move naturally, you can get information about your users, right? And then testing is another aspect of things. So when you start designing, it is extremely important to test your prototypes, test what you're designing to see if your users are actually interacting with it the way you intend and if they actually find it enjoyable and easy to use, right? And lastly, analysis and iteration. After you've completed your research and also maybe completed your product, it is extremely important to get feedback at every single stage. When you finished, when you're not finished, always get feedback and iterate. So improve your design as you go along, right? And there are many tools you can use for analysis and iteration of your designs. Okay, so in terms of before designing, we have interviews, we have field studies. And again, I want to mention that these things don't have to happen, like ideally they happen before designing, right? But they can happen at any stage in the design process. If you didn't get to do interviews before you started designing, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just make sure you do them at some point in time because they give you in-depth understanding into your users, right? We have interviews. Interviews are where we ask open-ended questions to understand people's pain points and preferences. Right. Can someone tell me what an open-ended question is? I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. So, yeah.
Am I permitted to answer? Am I one of the students?
Yes. Please. Yes, please.
Okay, let's give you Rafiat. Please go on. All right. Rafiat, you have the floor.
Yes. Can you hear me, ma'am? Open questions. Questions that are open. That you need your users to talk about their mind, to talk about how they feel.
Yes.
Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Awesome.
Yes, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
open.
That's a good answer. So, yeah, an open-ended question is not, oh, for example,
Oh,
do you like rice? Right, that question is a closed-ended question because the only answer to that question is yes or no, right? But an open-ended question leaves room for the user to give more detail into the experience. An example of an open-ended question is, tell me about your day, right? So that is an open-ended question because they can, they have room to speak on any and everything that they want to speak on. So interviews are extremely important because they give you an in-depth view into your user and their desires, right? We have field studies where you're just observing them in their natural environment when they're using products or services. You also have surveys where you have closed-ended and open-ended questions. So closed-ended questions are very useful for surveys because you can get more quantitative data on user preferences and behavior. Quantitative data is extremely important. Qualitative is, again, the words that you get from interviews and all of that. And then contextual inquiry is another type of UX research that you can do before you start designing. Again, it's observing them in their natural environment. So if you're talking to someone that sells mango, you're just observing them in their natural environment, seeing what challenges they face, what they like, what they don't like about selling mango and getting feedback from that, right? Right. So an example interview question. Tell me about your day as a business owner. Another example is what challenges do you face in reference to HR processes, right? So again, these are just very, very open where people can give their feedback and it gives you in-depth view into your users. Right? In terms of testing, we have different types of testing, right? We have usability testing. Can someone tell me what they think usability testing is? I know it's already there, but in your own words, what do you think usability testing is?
anyone, please feel free.
Yes. My own understanding of usability testing is testing the product if it is easy to use or if it's friendly. So that's my own understanding of usability testing.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for your answer. So yeah, usability testing is as your, yes, someone else?
Yeah, I think Joseph.
Okay, Joseph.
Yeah, hi. Really, for me, usability testing looks at letting people, whereby they let the design and development teams identify problems before they actually code it. So that's really what, for me, usability testing comes into. So that you just know you prevent a lot of resources going into code and time beforehand. So you let like those small issues get tested. So this can be done, I think, through prototypes and all from Figma or whichever software you use to to design.
Mhm. Joseph, you're sounding like an expert. But thank you. Thank you for your answer. So yes, you guys gave good answers to that. Usability testing is when you're testing the experience, the usability, the enjoyability of your product. Typically before you actually give it to engineers to actually develop, right? As you're prototyping, as you're developing your product, you're testing, you're getting feedback on a regular basis from users, right? You also have A/B testing. A/B testing is when you're comparing two versions of a feature, right? And you're seeing which performs better according to specific metrics. An example metric is the amount of time it takes a user to, for example, complete a purchase, right? You make two different designs or two different flows of that completing a purchase process, and you see which one takes less time. That is A/B testing. And from there, you can determine, okay, we're going to go with this version because it takes less time for these users to complete a purchase, right? And then you have beta testing. This is when it's actually, does anyone use Netflix here? Does anyone use Netflix?
Yes, I do.
Yes, yes. So Netflix does a lot of beta testing. So they release features to a small select number of people, right? They'll see how it's performing, see if people like it, if they're not even using it at all, before they determine that, okay, we're going to launch it to the larger audience, right? So that's another example of testing. We also have accessibility testing. So this is specifically testing with users that have disabilities, right? So maybe visual impairment, to see how they are actually interacting with your product. So this is extremely, extremely important as well, right? So an example, can anyone tell me what this app is? If you guess it right, I'll give you something. No, Tosi will give you something.
Why something? Okay.
You just look like an like an Uber app.
Okay, but which app is it specifically? Does anyone know? Can anyone tell?
You
InDrive.
If I do,
in
we'll
Well,
drive
it's
exactly.
InDrive. It's
Wait, okay. People in the chat box are also replying.
okay, what are they saying?
Wheezy says InDrive. Faith says both. Yes.
Well done, guys. So this is InDrive. This is InDrive. Right. So an example usability testing question is, please try to book a ride and share any frustrations or preferences. So you actually tell the user, you show the user, well, ideally this is a prototype, right? You show the user this design and you ask them, okay, please go ahead and try and book a ride. And they'll go through the process of trying to book a ride and they'll be giving you feedback on their experience, right? So usability testing can be moderated. So meaning you're there when they're testing it. It can also be unmoderated. So using certain tools, you can just, give them the task, ask them to complete it, and look at the data from the back end to see what their frustrations are, what their experiences are, all of that. So usability testing is extremely important. It helps you, like Joseph said, it helps you improve the product before you go spend time, money, and effort into development with engineers and launching, and then finding all these issues that you could have solved beforehand. It's never ever too late for usability testing, but my rule of thumb is to do as much as possible before you launch so that the issues you're finding after the fact are not as many, right? Okay, analysis and iteration. So you have thematic analysis. So meaning when you've done an interview with maybe, let's say 10 users that are your target users for your product, you can analyze patterns in the things that they're saying. So if you're saying that, okay, a good number of people are talking about frustrations with their driver when booking a ride, that is a theme in itself, right? Maybe driver behavior is a theme. Another theme can be cost, right? So you can group people's responses into themes in order to see which themes are the most prominent than others, right? So it's not really about numbers per se, but just seeing which themes are the most prominent amongst users. You also have quantitative analysis. So as I mentioned, when you do surveys and you get a lot of quantitative data as to the number of users that use Uber versus the number of users that use Bolt, right? You're using a quantitative data to analyze and determine, okay, maybe we should go in this direction versus this direction. So that's another example of analysis. And then product analytics. Can someone give me an example of a product analytics tool? If you know this answer, wow, I'll be so proud. A product analytics tool. So meaning your product is live and you're able to analyze the user's interactions. Okay, I hear someone. Tosin.
Chibuikem is raising his hand. Chibuikem, please go on. Do you have something to say?
Yes,
Chibuikem.
an example of a product analytics tool. You have Usalytics. Am I right?
You have what?
Usalytics.
Yes,
Usalytics.
yes. Well done. I'm clapping for you. Well done. So we have Google
All
Analytics.
right. Okay,
Sorry.
in the chat box we have responses too as well.
Okay.
Don Weezy Pro says Maze.
Yes.
Joshua Wilson says Google Analytics.
Yes. These are all
Amazing.
examples. Okay. Well done, everyone. So yeah, so that these product analytics are extremely important because you can see from the back end of things what users are actually doing. Because sometimes what users are saying versus what they're doing are two different things. They might tell you, oh, I have no issues with your product. And then on the back end, you're seeing that they're clicking here many times. They're struggling with a specific user flow. They have issues with something that they didn't mention in conversation or through the survey, right? So product analytics are extremely important to see what users are actually doing on the back end of things. So yeah, just an example here. This is a heat map. So you're determining the level of attention that each element is receiving or the order in which they are viewed. So some of these product analytics tools have like eye tracking, so they see where the user's eyes are going, and you're just observing their actions, where they're clicking, and all of that. And it can really help you determine where to place your information and also how you can improve the usability of your product when you see that they're having issues, right? So why is UX research important? I mean, I mentioned a few things, but I'd like someone to tell me why it is important. There are many reasons, Shabo.
Yeah, like I kind of think like in order to understand the behavior of your customers.
Oh, sorry, were you still talking? Oh, that's your answer.
Yes, like I think to understand the behavior of the customers, like what they really want, and to make it easy for them to access their products.
Yes, exactly. So that's one reason why UX research is important. And I want to get into actual real life examples because sometimes people think UX research is just to make users happy. But I want to show examples as to how UX research is not just for users, but also for businesses, for them to increase revenue and longevity in the market, right? Okay, so these apps, this is Gokada, this is Uber, this is Quick. So I'm very interested. Have any of you used these apps to send a package before? Not for booking a ride, but to send a package. Okay. I think someone has their hand up, right? I can't see, so.
Yeah, it's still that same person. Okay, Uchechi, please go on. Is Uchechi there? Okay, so Don Weezy Pro replies saying, okay, if you carry out research early on, okay, I think he was replying on your previous question, saying, okay, yeah, if you carry out research early on, then you could save a lot of cost before deployment of the product.
Yes, exactly. Very good response. Thank you.
Yeah, then for your recent question, Temitayo says, yeah, she uses Uber.
She uses Uber to send a package. Can Temitayo unmute and tell me why you prefer Uber to send a package?
Temitayo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'll say I prefer Uber because they are swift and their delivery is very fast and cheap.
Okay. Thank you for your response. Okay, so yeah, let's get into what I want to get into is the user flows of getting a dispatch rider to send a package, right? Comparing these different apps. Someone's hand is up.
Yeah, so with Uber, it's easy, to monitor like the rider to see where the rider is, and also putting in your details like the user flow. It's easy to navigate. You don't have to put in too many things.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm
I
curious.
think you just need your name, your address, yeah, just very few things to fill up.
Yeah.
Unlike GoCada.
Okay. So you've used GoCada before?
Yes. No, I deleted the app actually because it was really, it was too much.
Okay.
I couldn't navigate it like easily. So I just sticked on Uber.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for your response. I'm curious as to if anyone else has used GoCada or Quick to send a package. We had 2 people say Uber. Has anyone used any other app?
I think everybody is the Uber fan because I myself am the Uber fan.
Okay. So let's get into the user flow. Wait, can someone tell me what a user flow is? Or I'm using like terms that people might not understand. Can someone tell me what a user flow is?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think like the number of times like a user can get access to a product or to a page in an app.
Okay. I hear someone else. Thank you for your response. I hear someone else.
User flow is like steps you take while using a product. Like if it's an app, so user flow is like the steps you take from logging in to going to the dashboard, the button you click next, then what action you do after that, till the payment, till the last transaction. So it's like the steps you take while using a product.
Okay, thank you so much. That was a good answer. I heard something else.
Yeah,
so it's the same thing. It's the steps you take in actually executing a particular task or on a product.
Well done. Thank you, everyone. So a user flow is when you have a goal on a product, right? So in this case, the goal here is to get a dispatch rider to send a package from one place to the other, right? So that is the goal. So the user flow is the steps that you're going to take from logging in. Maybe you don't have to log in. Uber, you don't always have to log in, right? But from log in to being able to send that package, that is the user flow, the steps that you take to get from one place to the other or to get to your goal or destination, right? So in this case, this is the user flow of Uber. I didn't put everything there, just, the key steps in sending a package, right? So you just open it and you click send a package or receive a package. But in this case, you click send a package. It asks you for where you are versus where it is going, right? Your address and the address of the destination. And then it asks you to confirm the details like the address, the amount, and all of that. And then you choose the package and a rider comes to you, right? So it's not too many steps and it's pretty simple, in my opinion. Quick. So, oh my gosh, Quick, please forgive me because I know you're trying, but Quick, this is the flow to send a package, right? I don't know if you can immediately tell the difference in the interface. This interface is, you see either send a package or receive a package. So it's very easy to determine what you want to do. Here, this is the first thing you see. It seems like a form. So it seems like a lot of information at once. All of this refers to usability, right? It seems like a lot of information at once. And it also looks like a form as opposed to an app, right? So it's asking for pickup details, delivery details, schedule, whether you want to schedule your order right away or schedule for later, return order, merchant seller, vehicle type. It's just a lot of information in one place, right? So after that, you go through the whole process and it takes more time. So I actually calculated the amount of time it takes to send a package using Quick and send a package using Uber. I cannot for the life of me remember the number, but it definitely took more time for Quick, right? Because of the amount of things that they're asking for in the form. And I know somebody else mentioned it as well in the meeting, that with Uber, it doesn't take too many steps to send that package. But Quick is an example of where it takes a lot of time to actually send this package. And then my own personal breaking point was when they asked me to pay before I can send a package. So immediately I saw, oh, you have to pay before you send a package. I just closed the app and deleted it, honestly. So why am I telling this story of the user flow between Quick and Uber? Sometimes we think, oh, it's just to make the user experience better, to make users happy. but we need to relate it back to the business. If I prefer Uber to send a package because I prefer the experience, that means I'm using Uber many times. I will always refer back to Uber. If anyone wants to send a package, any of my friends or family, I'll tell them, use Uber. Don't use anything else. Use Uber, right? So that means Uber is making more money off of me, making more money off of my friends, my family. So it has, user research has business impact. It's not just, making users happy. It's making users happy, but also increasing business revenue and customer loyalty. Okay, I see a hand is up. I don't know who it is, but Tosin, you can tell me.
Wilson Joshua. Sorry, I was speaking. I didn't know I was muted. Joshua. Joshua, are you there? Or was it a mistake? Okay, I think we should just go on.
Okay. So yeah, it's not just about making the users happy. It's ultimately increasing business revenue and customer loyalty, right? And also customer advocacy, because some of the best...
Sorry, so
yeah.
to mute my mic. I don't know why that took so long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I was going to ask you, why did you find quick requesting for payment before carrying out, your business? Why did you find that fun, or why did you take it personal?
Okay, so the reason why I took it personal, not like I took it personal, but it stopped me, was because I've had bad experiences with paying for things before I actually receive them. It's like you pay for it and then maybe something goes wrong and you don't have your package or whatever, and you've already dropped the money. Do you get? So that's my mental model. I prefer not to pay for things until after I've received it. I know in some instances you have to pay before you receive the experience, but I did it in my own experience. I prefer to get what I need, the service or the product, before I pay, right? Especially when it comes to sending a package. I haven't even sent it. The rider can tell me that their bike broke down somewhere and something, and the person hasn't received the package and I've already paid. The money has already left my account. Do you get? So it's like, it's one of those things where at least let the person get it before I pay, right?
So thank you. So one last question.
Okay.
Considering the aspects where Quick added the vehicle type to the questions, the details they need for carrying out business, do you think it makes the user experience nice, or it's just too much information? I think like asking you for the vehicle type would further give them enough information to carry out whatever decision they want to make. So they wouldn't have to send you a bike when they're supposed to send the truck.
And yes, that's a very, very good point. But again, there are ways to place things, there are ways to organize things so that you don't overwhelm the user on first to look on the page. So yes, it's very important to ask the vehicle type, the size of the package, all of that. But again, when you see it all on one page like this, it can be a bit overwhelming. Just compare send a package, receive a package. Like, you just choose what you want to do before you go to the next step. They didn't put too much information in the beginning. Quick, from the jump, they put a lot of information. So again, it looks like a form as opposed to the app or an app experience, right? So these are just examples of usability. So these things, yes.
Sorry to cut. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I think maybe Joshua was not there when I mentioned. Please, let's all save our questions to the end of the program just to manage our time well. We're trying to work with the 1 hour so that all questions can come at the end. So in case, so that you don't forget, you could just type it in the chat box, right? And then we'll attend to it. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tosin. But yeah, I hope I answered that question, and I hope, like Tosin said, please write your questions down. I love to hear them. So this is an example of usability, user experience. And again, I used a key metric in this case, time on task. So the amount of time it took me to get a rider to book a package on Quick versus Uber there was a significant difference. So that was also one of the key reasons why I said, okay, I'll just be using Uber from now on, because it took me less time and there was less confusion. And I also did not have to pay before I booked a rider. That's another thing too. Sometimes you have to look at what competitors are doing. If competitors are not, a competitor that is doing very well and they're not asking for payment, why would you now ask for payment? So that is another thing that can play into user experience. What's happening in the market, competition, right? So again, if I have an option of not paying before I book a rider, then I'm obviously going to choose the option of not paying because it makes me feel more comfortable, right? Okay, so UX research, like I mentioned, it leads to increased customer loyalty and satisfaction. So they have a good experience and they come back and come back and come back, right? So you're making more money. And then product success and longevity, right? So if you know that, okay, your users are having a good experience with your product, you're continuously improving and all of that, you stay competitive, you stay relevant. We live in an age where startups are starting up like crazy, like on a day-to-day basis, right? So you have to take those extra steps to move beyond just design. You have to be iterative. You have to be improving constantly with feedback from your users. And then ultimately, like I've mentioned many times, it leads to an increase in business revenue. So I always like to say that UX research is a bridge between your users and your business. The business has its goals, the users have their goals, right? It's not good to just focus on, oh, I want to make money, I want to make money, I want to make money. How exactly are you going to make money? You're going to make money by making your users happy, right? So it all comes together through UX research, because by understanding your users, the experience and what they need, they're able to make not only them happy, but ultimately lead to increased business revenue. So we're concluding in a bit, but I want to talk a bit about why UX research is your edge in the design world. Okay, so I know we're all excited about being designers, UX design. Everyone is a UX designer these days, right? Kudos. We're very happy about that because UX design is a very noble practice. It's very, very important. It's more than just design. It is a discipline. It is seeing how to improve the experience of products so as to make your users and businesses happy, right? But UX research is your edge. It is your edge in the design world, and I want to explain why. So it gives you strategic influence. So I know some of us maybe might start off doing freelance. Some of us might even start off in full-time environments, like a full-time role in a company, right? When you as a designer use data to back your decisions, you're more effectively influencing business strategies, right? If you're just designing just to design, and there's no data to even back up, oh, why you made this decision or why you made this decision, yeah, you're just a designer, right? So to take that extra step to be more than just a designer, but also a strategic influencer, data will it will help you completely to, just have that backing so that you're not just an executor of an idea, but you're active participant in the strategic decision making. So they take you more seriously. And I've seen it time and time again. They take it more seriously when a designer can back their decisions, right? Because they know that, okay, this person is not just designing just to design. They're using data to back what they're saying. So automatically they know that, okay, this is someone that we can take seriously, right? And then again, when your users are happy with your designs, right, it leads to product success and ultimately business revenue. When you start dealing with stakeholders, you start dealing with product managers, you start dealing with marketing, you start dealing with business, you need to relate the designs you're doing to the goals that they have. So they have goals such as business revenue, user adoption, all of that. Your goals need to align with their goals, and they can't align with their goals if you're not analyzing user interactions, if you're not getting their feedback, so that your product can actually do well in the market and translate to more money for the stakeholders that are interested, right? So you're not just working in isolation. You have to align your goals with their own goals, and you can't do that without getting feedback from your users, right? And again, measurable impact. By the time you can use metrics such as user engagement, less churn rate is when users are using a product and then they stop using it over time, right? So by the time you are showing metrics to show that, okay, by the time we did UX research here, we improved this design, and then this has moved this metric forward by 20%, your ability to measure impact is extremely crucial in business context, because they're like, wow, so this product is not only, it doesn't only look nice, but it's also pushing our metrics forward. It's also like taking us to our end goal, right? So that measurable impact is another reason why UX research will give you an edge as a designer. Some other reasons as well. This is, I believe, is the last slide. So risk reduction. So people mention that by the time you're getting your data from your users, you're able to make choices that will be successful. I mean, not like 100%, but more likely to be successful. So this saves a lot of money and time. I've seen situations, not just in my company, but other places where, you know, they immediately after you're designing, you immediately start deploying. Engineers are working hard, front end, back end, everyone is working hard. They're taking money, time, all of that into the development process. And then when you launch, one is not doing as well. You're wondering what happened. Why isn't it doing well? Users are having issues that you did not, foresee. But if you had done the research, you would have been able to track a lot of these things. You can't track everything 100%. That's why user research is a continuous process, but you would save a lot of money and time taking care of things that could have been taken care of before you launch, right? And then future forecasting. By the time you're used to analyzing data over time, you're able to start thinking in your user's mind, if that makes sense. You're like, as you're designing, you're like, okay, from this experience with these users, I know that we should put this here as opposed to here, right? So you start thinking like for the future as opposed to just designing. So again, it's more strategy focused, forward thinking designs that automatically position the business for future success. And lastly, cross-disciplinary collaboration. As I said, as a designer, maybe in the beginning you work on your own, but over time you're going to start working with a lot of these product owners, product managers, business, marketing, different types of stakeholders, right? So by the time you're actually using data to drive your design, I promise you, I have seen it time and time again, it enhances your role as a designer. They take you more than just somebody that's just going to design something nice for them. It's like, this is actually a strategic partner in our decision making throughout the process, right? So I hope all of these reasons have shown you how UX research gives you an edge as a designer. You become more than just a design. This is another quote that I really, really love. I cannot remember who said it, but I saw it somewhere and I noted it somewhere. As designers, when we harness the power of data and user insights, we elevate our role. We evolve from artists to strategic collaborators, shaping the future of products and businesses. The main thing I want us to take away from this quote is you can be more than just a designer. Being a designer is great. It is amazing. But imagine if you're able to use data and user insights to be more of a strategic collaborator. I promise you, in real life work experiences, you're taken more seriously when you're using data and user insights to inform your decisions and showing the metrics that, okay, when we've tapped in with our users, we're able to bring this product more success and the business more money. So yeah, that is it. C'est fini. Thank you so much, everyone. So I hope we have questions. I hope we have comments.
Awesome. Yes, please. Let's clap for her. I mean, okay, these guys will understand. Yes, shower her with the claps, guys. Choke her with the claps, guys. Okay. Thank you so much, Victoria. Okay, I think this is the point where I stop recording. 1 second, please. Thank you very much,